2 Samuel 24. So it's interesting, the very first verse, it said, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel. And he incited David against them. And so this going to take a census that is like in God already said, like, don't like take censuses and stuff like that in the Exodus, in the law, but David wanted to take a census. But then the Bible gives us the reason that God incited David. And so, but it's still David's choice to do that. And by doing that, he caused a plague, like a consequence, like a punishment to come on Israel. But even if he did that, even if that happened, it was because the anger of the Lord was against Israel. So Israel had some kind of sin, and so because of David's action, he judged Israel in that way. And so God actually gave, when David saw that he did wrong and that he was conscience stricken, then God actually gave him three choices. But then David he said something great. He said, let us fall into the hands of the Lord, for his mercy is great, but do not let me fall into human hands. And that, like, that is so awesome that he said that. Basically is like, God, you know what is best, and you are merciful. And God was merciful. God didn't carry out the full extent of the punishment. And so God chose the 3-day plague. And it's also interesting that David saw the angel who was striking down the people. That is interesting. I don't know what happened there, but he said, I have sinned, I the shepherd have gone wrong, but these are but sheep. What have they done? Let your hand fall on me and my family. Well, God didn't really do that. He wanted to judge Israel. So then God the seer told David to build an altar to God. And so he didn't want, it's also interesting how he said that I will not sacrifice to the Lord my God burnt offering that cost me nothing. And that made me think about what I do. Sometimes I want to give God out of the abundance that I have. And when I give it, I offer to him like things that actually cost me. I kind of like calculate about it and sometimes whine about it. And so that made me kind of reflect on my actions, and I want to have a heart like David. And so he built an altar and sacrificed burnt offering, and the Lord answered his prayer on behalf of the land, and the plague on Israel was stopped. So maybe it wasn't a 3-day. Maybe God did chose the 3-month one, but he stopped it in the middle.
Hello. Hello.
Let's see. 3 years of famine, 3 days of plague, but oh no, it's a plague. So a lot of people died, and so it's kind of like we see that it's like it's hard to understand this passage because it's like God incited David, but David chose it and he carried out his action on it. And Joab actually asked like, why would you do this? It's like I don't think it's a good idea, but David's word kind of overridden, overrided Joab's concern, and so like God wanted to judge Israel. He incited David, but it was David's choice. It was David insistent, but and God actually used people to like kind of like put a stop to, or like question that action, but David didn't stop. So in the end, it was David's own decision, and so he was guilty about it. And so it doesn't matter if we are incited by God, or if he hardened our heart, the decision is still ours and we are still responsible for it. But it's kind of hard and kind of weird, and sometimes like I think if you think about it, it might seem unfair, but the thing is that we don't know the mind of God, and we don't know his ways are higher than our ways. So there is a reason for it. We just don't understand it yet. And the way that the writing describe God, it's in a way that human can understand, but I don't think it captures the full aspect of the omniscience of God and the free will of man, and that is pretty much what is being played out here. And so it's hard to understand, but I just read it as such.